Welcome to the E-commerce Badassery Podcast, the place for scrappy entrepreneurs who want to learn actionable steps and strategies to grow the traffic, sales, and profit in your e-commerce business. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster, a 20-year retail veteran and former brick-and-mortar boutique owner who spent 3 years as the only employee of a 7-figure online store. That shit was crazy. I know exactly how it feels to do all the things, and I'm sharing everything I learned the hard way so you don't have to. I may have started this business by accident, but supporting badass bosses like you lights me the fuck up, and I am so stoked to see you grow. Are you ready, babe? Let's roll. Welcome back to the E-commerce Badassery Podcast. I'm your host, Jessica Totillo-Coster. Quick public service announcement. While you likely already know this about me, and I do mark my podcast as explicit, I just wanted to remind you that if you have any children around you who you don't want to hear my potty mouth, now is a good time to put your earbuds in because I'm feeling exceptionally feisty and sweary today. So friend, the countdown to Q4 has begun, and it's going to be here sooner than you think. Yes, we are already talking about Q4, and we're going to continue to talk about it over the next few episodes. But before we get too deep into the nitty-gritty of how to get your shit together this holiday season, I wanted to address the elephant in the room. Is the election going to screw up sales in Q4? While I certainly don't have a crystal ball and can't predict the future, I can look at the data and fall back on my experience to say, it is unlikely the election will hurt your Q4 sales. Yes, we've heard the stories of businesses that are struggling right now and have been all year. Yes, we've talked about the fact that election years often result in uncertainty and wonky customer behavior. Yes, everything has gotten more expensive and people keep talking about the price of their groceries. But at the same time, there are plenty of businesses that are up in 2024 or flat to last year. And when you look back at retail sales data over the last 20 plus years, I did go back that far, the only election years that show a decrease in Q4 spending compared to the year prior were 2008, the Great Recession, and 2020, the pandemic. Further research shows that what we actually see is not a dip in holiday sales overall, but a dip during the actual election season, reaching its height on election day with a bit of a hangover the days immediately afterward. But once we get through that initial dip, things essentially rebound back to normal. At the end of the day, if people have money, they spend it. And the truth is, when it comes to the holidays, even if people don't have money, they spend it. Will they spend less per person or lower their overall holiday spending budget? Maybe. Does that mean you should go into Q4 with a negative outlook, assuming that sales aren't going to be what you hope? Absolutely not. If I've learned anything in my adult life, it's that negativity just breeds more negativity. If you go about your business thinking things aren't going to work out well, you'll constantly have that idea validated by the headlines you see, the things you hear from your business friends, and the general sentiment on the internet. In turn, you don't fully show up in your business or your marketing because you feel like, what's the point? If the result is going to suck anyway, why bother trying? Believe me, I 100% understand these feelings. I feel them sometimes. My students and clients feel them sometimes. And it can feel lonely as fuck when you are deep in the struggle. That's why I prefer to share the real here on the podcast and with my clients and students. It can be such a relief when you realize that you are not the only one. But it can be a slippery slope, right? Getting the validation that things just suck all around can really knock the wind out of your sails. You could always just pretend everything is great, even if it isn't. But I'm not a fan of toxic positivity. At the end of the day, the best thing you can do is acknowledge that things suck, know that you are not alone, and then focus on controlling the things you can control. When it comes to Q4, that's going into it knowing that even though it's an election year, even though prices are high, even though it's been a weird fucking year, people are going to be spending money during the holiday season. Your job is to create a kick-ass holiday assortment, go balls to the wall with your marketing, and show the fuck up for your customers. I want you to go into this holiday season without any preconceived notions about how bad it might be. Just think about how good you can make it. Yes, you still need to be realistic with your inventory and such. Please don't go crazy. But I want you to go into this season with a positive mindset about what's possible. And you know, I am no mindset coach, but I promise when you operate from a place of what's possible, you are going to show up different in your business. And those are my parting words for today. If you want to see the data I looked at and some of the observations from others who have dug into this question, head to ecommercebadassery.com/291 for the full show notes. I have some links to articles and historical retail data there so you can see it for yourself. Make sure you pencil in some time over the next few weeks to keep up with the show as we'll be diving into how to have a kick-ass holiday season in your business. And that's a wrap on this week's episode. As always, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I so appreciate it, and I will see you on the flip side, friend. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you want to learn more about growing your e-commerce business, get started with my free resource library at ecommercebadassery.com/free stuff and get an invite to the Lounge, my e-commerce marketing membership. When you're ready for one-on-one support, apply to work with me at ecommercebadassery.com/apply. Before you go, would you do me a quick favor? Leave a rating and review and tap that follow button. This pushes me up the chart so I can support more scrappy e-commerce entrepreneurs just like you. I'm on a mission to reach as many as I can, and I could really use your help. Thanks so much in advance. Until next time, e-commerce friend, stay badass.